Hello and welcome back to the Wild Ones podcast, the show where we chat about bike stuff. I'm Jimmy, I'm with Francis and producer Emily. What's happening, guys?
I'm a broken man. I'm really sore. Are we doing fluff up of the week straight away?
Yeah,
Yes.
straight in.
All right, okay. We were at Urban Hill Climb, which is a hill climb race in the middle of London. It's not the middle, is it? Swains Lane, somewhere in the north of London. And we had a fun time. We did it on a couple of different bikes. One of them was a folding bike. And I then did loads of wheelies at the top of the hill, one of which resulted in me going off the back of the bike. And I hit myself so hard on the ground. I am still very sore. This is 4 days ago now. 3? 4?
It was on Saturday. Today we're recording on a Tuesday. People will hear this on Thursday.
Okay, the point is,
Yeah.
I'm over 30 now, so it hurt much more than any of my previous crashes, even when I broke both my arms at the same time. Like, it really is bad. And I crashed. Not only did I fell on my arse, it felt like I hit my head. Like, honestly, I felt sick. And the only time I've ever felt like that is when I've been concussed and hit my helmet really hard, like in a race crash, going 40 miles an hour. But I was going 0 miles an hour, trying to do a wheelie. The Boris bike, the folding bike, has an odd balance point. That's my excuse. I really hurt myself. I also fell on my elbow, which has now got some cuts on it, which already has metalwork inside, and my wrist on the other side, which is still broken from a few years back and never repairs itself.
And did you seek medical attention?
I told my wife.
Okay.
So I fell on my bum.
The closest to medical attention. So basically, we were both doing two events. We were both going to do the folding. We were both going to do the road bike. I had already done the folding bike category. Francis had done it, finished the race, then managed to get all cocky and arrogant on the way back to the start and crashed his bike. Met me back at the bottom where we were going to then get ready to do the road bike category.
You're like, your lips are blue.
Well, no, I didn't say it. I didn't want to like make you feel more nervous. You're like, I feel sick. I'm like, let's not have you ride the road bike. You're like, maybe that's a good idea.
I don't remember that conversation. The ride down was like, I was just like, I don't feel very well. I probably shouldn't be riding my bike right now, but I'm committed now. And what if I stop? I would get lost, even though it's just left.
It is just left. Yeah.
Yeah. In hindsight, probably should have just stopped.
And then you brought down from the top two Rice Krispie squares, which are currently the food of choice at the minute for no particular reason.
Weird. I've never really eaten them before.
Which was meant to be one each, and you were like, I should probably eat both of these. I just went.
And Jimmy had another hill climb to do on no fuel.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So that's that.
Fluff of the week got out of the way early. But also we had another one this morning because I turned up with a 5% battery on my laptop, which is used to record the audio for this podcast, and no charger.
Yep.
So we have started an hour late because I had to go to the Apple shop to buy myself
Walk
a charger.
of shame to Apple.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that because I'm that tired from the weekend. It wasn't just that. There was a memorial gig for my dad on the next day, which obviously meant drinking 15 beers. So I'm tired in multiple ways. I'm very sore. I enjoyed my hour of sitting here on my heated seat, which I brought back, and I'm ready for the rest of the podcast now.
Fair enough.
Onwards.
One final note in our introduction, warm-up, whatever you want to call the front end of the podcast. Big thank you to everyone that donated to the Recyc crowdfunder. It is currently on about $6,500 with the match funding.
Oh, wow.
But keep donating. We want more donations. So thank you very much for those that have donated and those that are going to donate and those that just have a look, because that's also just nice.
Yeah, legends.
Right, so this week we're going to mix some things up. We are going to do a round of Love, Tolerate, Kill. We're actually going to do 3 rounds of Love, Tolerate, Kill in little blocks chucked into the podcast so that you don't have 5 hours of Love, Hate, Kill.
Is it like Snog, Marry, Avoid?
Yes, basically.
I've never played this. It's been played on the podcast when I haven't been here.
We haven't done it with you?
No.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, maybe, but I delete the podcast from my brain anyway, so I'm pretty sure we haven't.
So essentially there's going to be 3 items, and then we are going to have a micro debate about whether those items are ones that we love, that we tolerate, and which one of them we're going to kill.
Do we all have to agree?
No, we do not have to agree. And I think it is, if we did have to agree, it would be like that film/play, what's it called? The one with all of the jury debating.
12 Angry Men.
Yes, it would be like 12 Angry Men, and we'd be here for about 500 hours. So we definitely should not all agree.
No, but you can't sit on the fence So if you love them all, you have to pick one to kill off. And if you hate them all, you have to pick one to love.
I'm ready.
Okay.
And before anyone gets like massively angry about this isn't real life. It's just a conversation. Okay, so round 1 of love, tolerate, kill. We are going in hard on number 1. Shimano group sets, 105, Ultegra, Dura Ace.
Wow, this is obvious. The best ones at the top. Love. Dura Ace.
Okay.
Middle. Ultegra. Tolerate. Kill 105.
Okay, well, I disagree. I love 105 because it's accessible to more people. Well, I love Dura Ace. Dura Ace is amazing. Ultimately, the one I'm going to kill here is Ultegra.
What?
Well, because 105's as good. 105 is as good as Ultegra.
It's not, though. The
It
brakes
is.
aren't as good.
It is.
Brakes aren't.
They are.
They are like
They are.
literally designed different and not as good. It's a lot cheaper.
They're good. It's a lot cheaper. It's more accessible. If you get rid of 105, then you're going from what's under 105 these days?
Q's.
Q?
Soon to
well,
be.
not yet, but will be eventually.
Oh, Tiagra.
Is it Tiagra?
Yeah.
Well, even if we just work on the basis of Qs, you're then going from Qs to Ultegra and then Dura Ace, and Ultegra to Dura Ace is practically the same as well. So get rid of Ultegra. You got 105, which is a significantly cheaper but really, really, really good top-end group set, and then you go to Dura Ace as an amazing one. So I'm killing Ultegra. I do love Dura Ace, even though it's completely and utterly not needed, and I tolerate 105, although the reality is I love 105.
Did he convince you, Francis? Are you sticking with your first?
I'm sticking with my
fine.
answer.
Good for you.
Bring elitism back to cycling.
Remember, listeners, this is us playing
This
games.
is not real.
This is not real life. Next one is carbon wheels, carbon finishing kit, and carbon bike. Well, this is a good one.
Yeah, this is a good one. I'm going kill carbon bike.
Oh.
I'm going tolerate carbon finishing kit. And I'm going love carbon wheels.
Love carbon wheels, yes, especially now the entire world is pretty much disc brakes. I don't like carbon wheels with carbon surfaces on rim brakes. Don't love them. But if I want any part of my bike to be carbon, it's the wheels.
Yeah.
Finishing kit is cool, but not needed.
Also, aluminium stem can be aluminium stem, it's singular. Aluminium stems can be super, super light and very, very good.
Well, I actually think typically the lightest stems are aluminium, apart from the ones that are like £1,000 by like really weird, obscure carbon.
With the little titanium bolts, which I would snap. Yeah.
I'm going to go love carbon wheels, tolerate carbon bikes, kill carbon finishing kits, because the finishing kit doesn't need to be carbon. What you do get, though, with carbon bikes is just some mad innovation. You know, like the old Lotus time trial bikes and track bikes. They're just like wild and it's exciting, and TT bikes are cool and they've got weird shapes. So there's something fun that happens there. There's nothing fun that happens with a carbon finishing kit. So that's where I'm at. Next up, we have, so over to SRAM's group sets, Rival, Force, Red.
Oh, you already know my answer.
Same as with
Shimano.
See, I'm killing Red on this one. If we're talking new Red.
Nah, but the new, what, you don't like it?
No, it's too long.
No, the levers. Oh, okay, I like for that reason. I like it personally.
I'm killing Red at the minute.
I guess there'll be lots of people out there who'll be, it's really annoying because it is longer.
It is
Longer
annoying.
levers. But I like the shifters.
They are nice.
Mm-hmm.
The brakes are fine.
I mean, currently, unlike the Shimano situation before, there is a very big difference between Red and Force, even how it feels and looks. Whereas Ultegra and Dura Ace basically the same thing, with a bit of weight difference.
Yeah.
And a cassette that wears out faster.
Do you know what? I'm going the same. Love Rival, tolerate Red, kill Force. Next up, we are going to sunglasses. So we have Oakleys, Scicon, and 100%.
Ooh. Oakleys, love Oakleys.
It's easy, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just a classic, isn't it?
Whether you want to admit it or not, they're the best. They are the best. They're the best quality. They look the best. They have the biggest range. They're the best.
The Oakleys that I have lasted better than the 100% that I have bought. The Scicons I've never owned, but I will just be fair and put them in the middle. I'll tolerate the Scicons
What, and kill the 100%?
I'll kill 100%.
Oh.
Sorry, 100%.
I think I'm going to kill 100% because they're absolutely massive. And what I actually like about Oakley is
They got small ones.
I've got a small face,
Yeah.
and Oakley have small glasses still available.
I bought some in Malaysia, the 100%, and they've gone a bit rattly already. Like the arms are not the same. They don't feel the same. Whereas the Oakleys that I have gone for years and years and years and years and years and have not, other than getting scratched up because I scratch up everything that I own, the quality of the hinges and stuff seems better.
I feel like I should say as well, I've included stuff on here purposely that we don't have any sort of business relationship with. So we're not saying we love something because we're sponsored by it or anything like that. If there was, we'd tell you, but I've purposely put stuff in here that we don't have any sort of affinity to.
Mm-hmm. Love Oakleys. I don't really know much about Scicon apart from Pogačar.
They're creeping it, but that's how they've become popular, isn't it? They were
like
they were a
bags.
bag company.
Yeah.
The giant bag.
Big bag, yeah.
Scicon with the where you put your handlebars in sideways and then you get to the other end and then both shifters are bent in.
you because of this story that you've just reminded me, I am going to kill Scicon because I once had a bike killed because I used the Scicon bag.
So you're basing this not just on the glasses.
No, just the fact that I lost a bike because of them.
But you got destroyed. A shiny new bike because you had bike insurance.
Yeah, but what a load of faff, man.
Yeah, it was.
That was hassle.
But the bike that got damaged was worse in colour than the bike that you got.
Yes, the result was great, but that's not the point.
You should be thanking Scicon.
Yeah.
For reference, it's not just Scicon. It's any soft bag I would have, speaking from experience, I would avoid because bikes end up getting broken more often than not. And it's sad when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one on this batch is Specialized Tarmac SL8, the new Canyon Aeroad and the new Trek. Is it Madone or Madone?
I don't know. Take your pick.
Madone.
I love the Aeroad because it's the only one I've ridden out of those three. Tarmac SL8, that's got to be a kill. Sorry, Specialized. They keep doing silly things. That's a decision based on the company rather than the actual product. I'm sure the bike is fantastic. Madone in the middle. Tolerate. It's got a weird hole in the back, isn't it?
If we just look at the Specialized bike and discount everything that we know about Specialized, the brand, it's weird because it is both in the love and kill category for me.
Yeah.
Because it is like incredibly cool and incredibly uncool all at the same time.
Well, I want to like them. I really want to like them, but you can't.
And I found that I agree with you on that. And I found that I was the opposite with Pinarello. I really wanted to hate them.
They're kind of all right.
But I really liked it when I rode it. So I am, for the same reasons as you, can't get behind Specialized, so I'm killing them as well. I would tolerate the Canyon Aeroad, and I'm going to go with love on the Trek Madone, even though I've never ridden it. I like that they do weird stuff.
Oh, I want one of those Trek Madones. The pink one that they made for Elisa Longoborghini when she won the Women's Giro. Oh, so good. I'm not like a pink gal generally, but that is a bloody good bike, and it's about 15 or 20 grand, something like that.
Ugh. Okay, so that is round one of Love, Tolerate, Kill finished. Shall we do a little bit of news?
Do it.
The UCI will now pay you for information on motor doping. So apparently, senior figures at the UCI are deeply concerned that mechanical doping may be happening under the radar, and they want to know everything that they can about new, innovative, and hard-to-detect technology that may be used to cheat. They've launched a scheme. It's called Fight Against Technological Fraud Rewards. That is such a bad name, isn't it? Fight Against Technological Fraud Rewards Program.
Yep.
The FATFRP.
FATRP.
The FATRP.
And its aim is to incentivize whistleblowers who might otherwise be reluctant to come forward. They've said that they'll pay for credible information that could lead to the detection of motors, and that they'll investigate both current and historic cases. Currently, only one rider has ever been officially caught motor doping, and that's Belgium cyclocross rider Femke van der Driesch. who was caught with a secret motor on her spare bike at the Cyclocross World Champs in 2016, which was also on the day that testing for electric devices began. No one's been caught since, but the UCI's president has vowed that he's not afraid to catch one of the top riders in the world if necessary. That's quite a bold statement, that, isn't it?
Isn't
That's
it?
almost implying that there is stuff going on.
No, I think it's just I think they're trying to put an onus on mechanical doping in the same way that they do. What's the other type? Biological doping.
Yeah. Well, they're taking it seriously.
Yes,
That's what they're
exactly,
trying to
exactly.
push.
They've said people with information can report it to UCI's confidential Speak Up platform or by emailing techfraud@uci.ch.
You know, Nick, the mechanic, Nick.
Yes.
You know him.
Yes.
He phoned me very excited the other day, claiming that he's found the place where we could get one of these motor doping items. Specifically one which is a Shimano crank. Could be fitted to any Shimano crank, or maybe it is a Shimano crank. I'm not sure.
Not an official one.
He was very excited, and then he said, let's do it for a Code Media video. And then I asked him how much it would cost, and then he told me the price, and I went, we might have to just use our own money for this.
We've had a conversation about this before.
What?
Because this is the one that I'm assuming the one that he's found is the one that I found and is actually really easy to find online. And the company went bankrupt something like 4 or 5 years ago. But you can still get the motors from some people that bought them, and they're about 5 or 6 grand.
Okay, this was less than that. This was about 3.
Maybe it was that then.
So I've been listening to the Ghost in the Machine podcast, and I think it might be the same. He looks at a company as well that said he's gone bust as well.
There's basically one that you can find on the internet that is like so discreet.
Right.
It's
Get it.
It literally clips onto the crank on it's like an axle thing on the crank arm, but like in the frame, and it's a beautiful piece of engineering.
Listen, if everyone can find sort of 300 to 500,000 of their closest friends and make sure they watch the video, then we might be able to recover most of the cost of buying this thing. That was just a joke. I don't know how much money it is.
What do you reckon the battery life is on a device like this? Because if it's small and discreet, the size of the batteries that we have here that last 2 to 3 hours on a normal bike ride, and it's like an e-bike, isn't it? 250 watts of drainage from the battery. So
it has loads of information on the website for it. I don't know what it is off the top of my head because it was like 3-4 months ago that we talked about it. But it's like it's I can't remember what it is, but it's like basically a hit of juice rather than something that just runs all the time. It's the kind of thing that you go, right, I'm on the last climb that I need to like do really well on. So you get yourself kind of like 5 minutes of 50 watts or something.
And I'm assuming it's got to be, well, ideally for the athlete's sake, it's not an item that causes any drag during no lost watts during the race. And then when you kick it in at the end, it gives you enough of a boost to be significant. I want to try one.
I think we have to try one just for experimental purposes. I think there'll be so many people that are interested in seeing what it is, what it does.
There was a guy that got in touch with us. I think he might have like a bike shop or just kind of like his own setup in America somewhere. And he fits these motors to bikes for people that basically just want, like, not for cheating, for
an e-bike conversion.
You know, they own a really nice road bike and they just want to convert it. You know, like we've looked at some e-bike conversion kits, but they're ugly compared to just the bike. So if it can just be the bike, then that's pretty cool. So it does feel like we need to do some digging on this a bit more, doesn't it? I hate to say it, but we might have to buy one. I really don't want us to have to spend 3-4 grand on a thing just for us to like make a video and go, well, that wasn't worth the money.
We can always sell it afterwards. We can sell it to Nick.
I don't think you can. And the reason I know you can't is the company went bust years ago, and clearly there's someone which is still sitting on stock that they bought all of those years ago trying to shift it on.
Do you think? I feel like they'd be popular. It would be hard to get one.
I guess the other thing to ask is, do you think that this will have an impact?
Do they have this for biological doping already? Is there a system where they ask you to dob in your teammates?
There is a reporting.
defo.
There's a reporting system. So that Speak Up platform has always been there, and you've always been able to report stuff. I don't know whether there has been a money incentive before. We should do a collab with Ghost in the Machine podcast. It's really good if you're interested in mechanical doping. So people recommended it to me, and I've listened, and it's very good.
Round 2 of Love, Tolerate, Kill. First up on the list. Oh, these first ones are always bangers. Strava, Zwift, GCN.
Kill Strava. Don't use it. When I did use it, I got hacked and my profile picture got turned into a picture of a lady.
For what purpose?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Fair enough.
But it's gone now. I think I do. It exists still now. I got it back, but don't upload to it. Tolerate GCN. Love Zwift. Despite the fact that I would... Oh, no, maybe I love GCN and Zwift. Because Zwift is amazing, but as we've discussed, there's not enough orcs.
Yeah.
I'm the same as you. Kill Strava, because don't care. Love Zwift. Although I don't love necessarily using it, I like that it exists. I like that it's doing something that wasn't around before them as far as I am aware. And they do a lot of good stuff in cycling, especially in women's cycling. Tolerate GCN because they should exist, and it's good that they've existed and they've helped loads of people, but I am not their target audience.
On the topic of Strava, we've said a couple of negative things about it, and we actually had an email in from Andrew a while back who thought we were being quite harsh on it. He said, "There's been a lot of talk about Strava and Strava segments across the podcast. I personally really like them. I'm by no means a top rider, and getting comms is out of the question for my riding area, but I do feel like segments gives me a personal benchmark for how I'm progressing, and I'm seeing myself getting stronger and faster on certain climbs and stretches of road. For us mere mortals, it's fun to see a PR on a big climb, or just to see where we might stack up overall. I don't race and I don't have many cycling friends, so it's good to see my actual strength, and it gives me goals and places to push myself where I may not otherwise have them." We should clarify, we don't think that Zwift is worthless. It has a place.
No, not Zwift, Strava.
Sorry, Strava.
They both got orange logos.
They do, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're not poo-pooing it completely. We just don't really see the point in it.
To play devil's advocate, a lot of people want... It's nice to be able to compare your times with professionals' times to see the big difference. And then it makes you go like, well, okay, like, these guys are some serious athletes. What are you thinking?
That is never a good comparison.
Why?
Because the only thing you're going to learn from that is, oh, I'm terrible. It's a different world.
It's a different world, yeah. Well, I think that's a cool thing to look at. I think it's nice. It's in the similar vein of something that mountain bike, cross country has an event like XC marathons, where a lot of them, you as an entrant compete against the pros who, it's the same timing. Like they go off first, sure. It's like a big sportive, but it is a race. So you're timed over the same distance, and then you're included in the same event as them, and you've all gone through the same journey together, and there's something quite nice about that.
You've just described all running events.
Yeah, and cycling, I think, gets it, well, road cycling in particular gets it a bit wrong. And we don't have that same format.
What's that got to do with Strava?
We've gone off on a big tangent. Some people like comparing their times to pros, Jimmy, that's what it is.
Yeah, cool. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Next one is Pinarello, Colnago, and Sarto. So 3 Italian premium bike brands. What?
This is going to upset them. People always get so sad when, like, whichever bike brand we choose, people are going to be really angry.
You have to choose, though. There's no option.
You have to choose.
This is why I said it's not real life.
Yeah, it's not real life.
What you mean is it's not black and white. It's nuanced.
I'm going to have to kill Colnago, and it hurts me to do that because I love Colnago bikes and I think they're very, very nice. But they're a bit behind right now as it stands in the top end of things, I suppose. Sarto's I love because it's custom, and Pinarello in the middle.
So Sarto isn't only custom, just for anyone that thinks that they are only custom. They do have off-the-shelf stuff as well. I love Sarto because they make
Giles' bike.
You can do really traditional stuff still. I'm obsessed with the idea of having one bike that replaces everything. And like you just keep it for the rest of your life. So yeah, it's potentially a lot of money, but like you just kind of like, invest in something that you love and go, right, well, this is me now for the next 30 years. You can get a traditional profiled custom geometry bike with clearance for big tires and little tires, and I just think they are absolutely beautiful, and they are properly still made in Italy, I believe. Pinarello I'm going to tolerate only because we rode the brand new Pinarello
Dogma F
earlier this year, and I really, really wanted to hate it, but it is just a great bike. And
It's
I
annoyingly
still to this day infuriates me that I know that bike is great.
The bit you love the most was the handlebar.
I did like the handlebar a lot, yeah.
But all of it just it meshes so well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's part of everything designed on it works seamlessly with everything else. It just feels really good.
But in true Pinarello style, a lot of their bike range is incredibly ugly. Like the X, I'm not allowed to use the word ugly, am I? Is incredibly not to my taste. And Colnago, they're just not very exciting.
I think Colnago has become a victim of you not having interacted with them very much. Because I think there would have been a time where you hadn't ridden a Pinarello where that would have gone in kill.
Yeah, definitely.
And because you've had an interaction with it, you know more about it. And even more so with Sarto, you've had more interactions with the Sarto, and that has biased your rankings.
Yeah, but I haven't ridden a Sarto.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think we'll see some cool stuff coming out of Colnago. Now they've felt the effects of
Pogačar.
UAE. Yeah. I think the same thing happened to Pinarello, where years ago they were okay, but they really had to step up when they were sponsoring the best performing team in the world. And the same thing we'll see from Colnago soon.
Good analysis.
Next is jersey and bibs, skin suits, normal clothes for cycling.
Skin suits in the bin. Kill skin suits.
What?
I thought you loved a skin suit.
Well, if I was racing, yeah, I would never ever wear anything but a skin suit.
Right.
But I'm not. And it's annoying and you can't go for a wee.
But if you're going to kill skin suits, then that means if you or anyone else was to ever do a race again, that's not available to them.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, we're killing it. It no longer exists.
It's not real, Jimmy.
Stop using my words back on me. It's not real life.
Normal clothes, fantastic, but I do start to get a sore ass if I ride in jeans, particularly right now where I already have a sore ass from falling on it. And jersey and bibs just seems to be the way. I want to do, when I go bikepacking, I often see other people riding in like a flappy t-shirt and all this stuff. And I've tried it. And I can't make it work. I'm like annoyed that I don't have pockets, or I'm annoyed that my shorts are moving around. And I just always come back to jersey and shorts there's a reason why it's popular.
Yeah.
Despite, I want to feel a bit looser, and then I'm not trying to set a KOM when I'm riding across country, because I'm not, but it is more comfortable. So.
My love normal clothes.
Yeah.
I properly love riding around in like jean shorts and a t-shirt.
What you need is the secret pants from AliExpress with the chamois, but one that's made better.
I'll be honest though.
I want an Atticus chamois pair of pants.
When I am at a point where I'm riding a lot and consistently, I don't need a bib short. If I'm going out for like an hour or two around town, well, I say around town, that was just like the London days where I used to swing around on a single speed, always in jean shorts. But then you just get a saddle that has more padding. But I just think normal clothes is very enjoyable to ride bikes with, and I think
car drivers to treat you differently.
Yes, that as well. And also, I just think it's just if more people were like, oh, actually, I can ride a bike in normal clothes, they'd probably ride a bike more often.
Another reason why I'd love to do a bikepacking trip in normal clothes.
But well, you hit the nail on the head with a bikepacking trip, though. Pockets are very useful.
Oh, filming as well. Granted, this is a niche need. I like having my filming device, which is my phone, in my left pocket on my, there. It's easy to get in and out of bib shorts, isn't it? They're cargo shorts.
Yeah.
I'm losing my voice. I'm struggling here, guys.
Are you?
Yeah. There was a lot of singing on Sunday and a lot of shouting
On Saturday.
almost halfway to people just at the top of the climb.
Yeah.
So yeah, love normal clothes, killing skin suits, tolerate jersey and bib, only because it's just something you have to think about, putting it on before you go for a bike ride.
There was a guy in Kingston Wheelers called Skinsuit Dan. And he was, when I first joined the club, and he went out, Dan's ride was the fast ride. I'm sure he's still around. But he only ever used to wear a skin suit with no bottles on his bike. And it was like an SIS skin suit, with like a Science in Sport, the nutrition brand. They had a race team, I think. And it had like a checkered flag on it somewhere. And he just never wore a helmet. Very old school. And no water, even in the peak of summer. Apparently, one day someone saw him having a little sip of water from one of the taps at the top of Box Hill.
I thought you said like drinking out of a puddle or something like that.
I heard another rumor that someone saw him just like moving stuff out, helping his friend move house, wearing a skin suit. So he's always wearing a skin suit.
It's getting out of hand. And the last one in this block is group rides, solo rides, and racing.
I am going to kill group rides.
Oh, why?
I haven't done one in so long, and I have no need to. There's no draw
Wait,
for me.
you ride with me. That's a group ride, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say group is anything other than, if we're saying group rides and solo rides, a group ride is anything more than just you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know. Then in which case, I'd love group rides.
Okay.
My ideal is 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, that's a group.
And then you get,
But also, all of your bikepacking trips are also group rides.
technically.
So you basically...
I don't like your definition. That's not what I would call a group ride. A group ride is if there's a bunch of people and they are moving at the same speed and they...
yes, exactly what we're all talking about here.
And it's a little...
Yes, a bikepacking
peloton.
trip.
No, bikepacking dinner. No, we're all over the place. Lawrence is halfway down doing his intervals on his own. Ben's off the back filming himself, doing a little dance, probably looking at himself in the car mirrors, checking himself out.
This is also a club group ride.
Nah, that's it. Yeah, it is.
I'm killing racing, and that's going to upset some people, but I don't care. Love solo rides, tolerate group rides because it's nice to have company occasionally.
Okay, I'm going to go group rides, tolerate. Racing, I love. I haven't done it for a long, long time, but if I did it, I would remember why I love it. And solo rides, kill, because I don't like riding on my own. It's time to think. That's about the only thing I like about it.
Next up, is Tadej Pogačar the greatest cyclist of all time? Well, Eddie Merckx thinks so. So, for those who missed it, Pogačar won the Road World Championships this weekend in spectacular fashion. He launched a daring do-or-die assault with over 100 kilometers to go, bridging across to the breakaway and going solo with 51 kilometers left. His victory secured him the cycling's Triple Crown, which I actually learnt earlier this year that what that actually means is the Giro, the Tour de France, and the World Champs in the same year. Mm-hmm. It's also why I think no one cares about the Vuelta. And speaking to L'Equipe, Eddie Merckx said, "It's obvious that he is now above me. Deep down, I already thought as much when I saw what he did at last year's Tour de France, but today there's no more doubt about it. Obviously, you can never compare eras, but this is an incredible rider. He's out of the ordinary."
Do you think Eddie Merckx is sick of being asked about people who are better than him?
No, because this is the only time it's ever happened.
Yeah, fair, but it's happened a lot. Well, with Mark Cavendish and the Project 30, was it 5 or 6 or
loves it
whatever?
though. He loves cycling so much. He just wants to be in. He loves being in the still relevant and talked about. And
Yeah, fair.
Rightly so.
Well, yeah, I guess if anything, it just confirms to him how iconic he is to still, all these years later, to be part of the conversation.
He's a cool dude.
And he still will be for many, many more years. Just because Pogačar's come through, Merckx is still one of, if in some people's opinions, still is the greatest cyclist of all time.
True.
Meanwhile, in the women's road race, Lotte Kopecky secured the rainbow jersey for the second year running. The Belgian was dropped on the final climb, but worked her way back to win the sprint finish. Chloe Daiger claimed the silver medal, while bronze went to Elisa Longo-Borghini. We have actually seen Kopecky struggle on climbs quite a few times now, haven't we? In the Giro, there was a few times she dropped off the climbs. She always seems to grind her way back in, though, doesn't she? She's like very controlled on the climbs. Well done, Lotte Kopecky.
Finally, we have some very sad news. The cycling world is mourning the loss of Muriel Furrer, a Swiss teenager who died after a crash in the women's junior road race. The 18-year-old came down in a forest area last Thursday, kilometres away from her hometown of Egg, south of Zurich, and was airlifted to hospital. It was sadly announced on Friday that she passed away. She was described as a warm-hearted and wonderful young woman who had always a smile on her face. Few details about the incident are known at this point, but questions have been raised about the cause of the crash and the time it took before she was airlifted to a hospital. Police have launched an investigation as the UCI admitted they're not exactly sure what happened. UCI President David Lepartient said, "It's too early to have any conclusion to say whether it would have been possible to find her earlier with a radio or not. Our condolences go out to her friends and family."
Let's head over to Listeners Takeover. So we have a question from Chris. "Morning, guys. Love the pod. Keep it up. I commute to work by bike and have recently converted to a road bike after using a hardtail mountain bike for years. So it's much faster and more enjoyable. I wear a shirt and trousers for work, which I carry in a roll-top waterproof commuter bag. The bag is fine, but it can be a bit rammed full with all of the bits I need for work, which in turn can mean a crease shirt when I get to work. Any tips to stop the shirt creasing or recommendations for better bags? Also, what do you wear for leg covering while commuting in the rain? Is it better to just get wet and have lycra clothing or wear waterproof lowers, which can make me sweaty to keep the rain out? Thanks again. I have tons of experience in this space.
I thought you did. That's why I added it.
You're a smart shirt man.
This is a great one. So I commuted by bike in London to a very corporate place where I had to wear shirts and stuff, and ties, which I no longer own anymore.
That's the dress code here, but we just break it every time.
Yeah. My method ended up being that I had a locker at work, which I feel quite fortunate to have. So all of the cyclists had lockers and there were showers at work. I used to leave a pair of shoes and 2 pairs of trousers at the office. And then on a Monday morning, I would ride in with 5 shirts, 5 pairs of pants. So then it was all just there. And then I would take it back home on the Friday. Obviously, you could do the trousers as well. I used to just wear the same trousers a lot and not clean them very much. But ultimately, the technique that I used to use is a roll technique for shirts, which I've probably shown to Emily at some point, or she'll at least seen me doing it a million times. You basically fold the shirt in half, cross the arms over the top of each other, and then roll it sideways. And then you can then put it either at the bottom of a bag or down the side of a bag. And then when you get to the other side, you roll it out. And generally, it's not very creased, but it'll still have a couple of marks in it. And then you just put it on, or if you do have a shower at work, put it on a hanger, put it in the shower once you're having a shower, and it gets rid of all the creases. That's my technique. I even used to use a frame bag to put the rolled up shirts in, because they're long and thin. So you can actually just slot 5 shirts into a frame bag if you don't even want to wear a backpack. In terms of the waterproof stuff, I've actually never used waterproof trousers apart from walking. And I am really, really excited to try and get some and do some cycling stuff with them. So I don't know. I have no experience of them being sweaty. I'm sure you can get some which are pretty good. I always used to just wear clothes or lycra with then a proper waterproof over the top.
Was Tony wearing them when you met him the other day?
Yes.
Waterproof trousers.
They look so good.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to get some of these and give them a go.
It's a very mountain biker thing.
Yeah.
And they just don't. I think they've nailed it. It's good. The only thing you'd add would be Southeast Asia thing, actually. Poncho. It's cheap and you don't get the same problem with ventilation than you would with a super waterproof jacket, because there's air everywhere underneath, isn't there? But then you get sprayed from the ground up.
Probably.
Then they do waterproof trousers, but at least your top half is breathable and there's air circulation.
Get some mud guards.
They do it on their mopeds.
Yeah.
That's what everyone puts on as soon as it starts raining. And when it rains there, it rains. So I feel like they would have figured it out.
Yeah.
My concern with a poncho whilst cycling, especially if the cycling that you're doing requires agility, is that you would lose some of the confidence in being able to flick your bike around cars and things like that and road furniture. But we did put a poncho on once, didn't we?
You had a poncho. I don't know if it was waterproof or just for show.
It probably was. It was just like a bin bag, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We did a video where it was a load of, I think it was a Temu video, and one of the things was a poncho, and it was horrible to have on.
Was it? Okay. Well.
But I don't know. Maybe one day we'll do a winter wear, a rain wear video.
I can see the benefit of wearing a waterproof leg covering, even if it makes you sweat. If you have access to showers, you're wearing a waterproof leg covering. Then when you're going home, you're not putting back soggy trousers on again, because
which I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Cycling home today. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to hate that. Take double kit on wet days. I used to do. But then you also then need waterproof footwear, because otherwise it just runs into your shoes.
Or what you do is you just put them on the radiator next to you, and then throughout the day it starts to smell and all of your colleagues hate you.
It sounded like you're putting stuff on the radiator in work was from experience.
Yes, yeah, it was frowned upon, but I still used to do it.
Frowned upon.
They don't have radiators; they just had pipes, so you just put it on the pipes.
As long as they're not too hot. I've melted quite a few things: gloves, shoes. They're hotter than you think.
Cheese.
Those hot radiators. cheese.
We've done a lot of trial and error, but have we found the correct solution yet? I don't know. But I like your roll technique.
My solution is just get wet still.
Oh, one more tip in this scenario, the commuter world. If you don't have a shower, then wet wipes and or Glasgow shower. So you just kind of get to work, towel off, bit of spray, and you'll be fine.
Next, we have a message from Ava, who says, "Hello, Francis, Jimmy, and Emily. I was listening to the episode where Jimmy explained how his injury during a race almost resulted in a helicopter evacuation. And I thought I'd share a story of mine. Last July, I was bikepacking on my own across the French and Spanish Pyrenees. After a very hot day of riding on the Spanish side, I set camp on a remote mountain pass. I woke up around midnight very sick, puking non-stop and with diarrhea.
Oh.
I figured I got a stomach bug from the water I drank during the day. I filter my water and add cleaning tablets, but it was such a hot day, I ended up refilling in streams I'd normally stay away from to avoid dehydration. Not wanting to take any risks, I decided not to drink any more of my water and wait for morning. As the sun rose, the heat returned, I called the emergency services and asked for medical advice, hoping they'd give me the green light to drink water, as my state of dehydration was already quite advanced. They obviously told me not to touch a drop of it, and I found myself asking them how I was supposed to ride the last 30k of the track left ahead of me to get to the road in the state I was in. At that point, I simply asked for my coordinates, and a helicopter was sent my way. About an hour later, I was picked up and flown down the mountain to an ambulance which took me to the nearest hospital. I was so dehydrated, I spent nearly 30 hours there. When I got out, I took a bus to go and pick up my bike in the village where the helicopter had landed, and like the stupid idiot I am, got back on it and rode 140 kilometers to get to the French side and catch my train to Paris. I hope this made you giggle. It was not fun to go through, but I find it made for a fun story to tell. Thanks for the videos and the podcast. You make the best cycling content on the internet. Cheers, Ava." Oh, thank you very much.
I don't think there's anything funny about that story
No.
at all.
Oh my God. That sounds traumatic.
I was giggling thinking I would do this.
The helicopter ride sounds like fun though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Picked up on the Alps in a helicopter.
Yeah, some people pay a lot of money for an experience like that. Not quite like that, not with
Billionaires.
the puking and the diarrhea and the severe dehydration. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? That would actually be a nightmare.
So I basically have half of that story up to the bit that it gets exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you are okay.
Finally, we've got a message from Raul, who has been on the channel recently. In the Two Bikes, One Wheelchair movie, he's the guy who saved me and Justin from trying to ride across a bridge that would have been closed and we would have been stranded. So he messaged ahead of us, gave us a lift around the bridge and sorted us out with a bike trailer, which we needed at that time. And every year he does a charity ride called the AIDS Life Cycle, a 554-mile, 7-day ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles with the goal of ending AIDS. Donations benefit the San Francisco AIDS Foundation and the LA LGBT Center and their efforts to educate, diagnose, treat, and hopefully end HIV and AIDS. As riders, we have to fundraise a minimum of $3,500 in order to ride. There are also additional personal expenses, including air travel, accommodation, shipping the bike, ground transportation, food, etc., which can exceed $2,000. Since I started in 2009, my wife Sarah and I have put up about 75% of the total cost. However, due to the economy, we opted out of participating this year with the understanding that I'd ride in 2025, even if we had to cover 100% of it. However, there's been a turn of events, and that's what prompted me to message you. The CEOs of both organizations broke the news that 2025 will be the last AIDS life cycle. I always thought that if I did not ride in 2025, I could always do it later, but now he has to ride. This ride has helped tens of thousands living with HIV and AIDS, raised awareness, funded research, and educated the masses. It's the world's largest HIV and AIDS fundraiser. Next summer, I turn 50. So I've set my fundraising goal at $5,000. On a personal note, AIDS Life Cycle has been woven into my soul, even though I had no direct connection to the mission, nor am I part of the community that it primarily serves. It's been a coping mechanism for my PTSD and has been a driving force for me to work towards. Thus, if there's any way you can assist me reaching my goal, it would be greatly appreciated. Until next time, thank you. So, we're putting a link underneath this video if you want to help out Raul in doing the last AIDS life cycle. It'd be great to see him do it. And also thank you, Raul, for helping us raise loads of money for Get Kids Going as well.
Yeah, boom. Thank you for that. Please keep sending in your emails, stories, suggestions, and other stuff to wildonespodcast@cademedia.co.uk.
We now have the final round of Love, Tolerate, Kill. This first category is specifically for bike packing. The 3 categories are bike luggage, a GPS computer with maps, off-bike clothes.
So this is a which one would you get rid of? If
We have
you
to get
had
rid of one. So we're either going to get really lost, we're going to have nothing with us, or we're going to wear bib shorts and jersey. As I discussed, I love bib shorts and jersey. I'm going to go with kill off-bike clothes. Stay in your chamois.
It doesn't say you can't bring a lot of bike clothes, so you could have a change of bib shorts.
Oh, so yeah, when you're not riding, you just get changed into your non-riding bib
off-bike
shorts.
bibs.
Yeah, special skin suit.
Skin suit.
Like skin suit Dan. This is what he does. He must have played this game.
Oh, this is actually a really horrible one, isn't it? Because obviously without luggage, you have to carry everything like a bike pack. I can't kill luggage. Off-bike clothes, you could kill, but you're going to have a much more enjoyable time, in my opinion, if you've got like a down jacket or a pair of normal shoes or a pair of underwear.
It's all about are you doing a trip are you spending time off the bike or are you packing for time on the bike? It's 2 different things, isn't it?
I feel like the one thing here that I technically could do without, but it would make it horrible, is a GPS bike computer and replace it with an actual physical map. But, yes, when I was very young, people used to have maps in their cars. You guys wouldn't know that. You probably just had sat navs. But there's no way you're actually going to use a map and not just get lost.
I don't know how to use a map.
Yeah.
If my dot isn't moving on it.
I remember reading, we had an A to Z in the car, and I used to look at it a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's just
because it's there. It's the only thing to look at, yeah. Before phones, wasn't it?
So you could in theory have a good trip. Do you know what? Maybe we should do like a little mini bikepacking trip.
I do love maps. Do you ever
With a
just
map?
wake up? One of the first things I do sometimes when I wake up in the morning is just look at Google Maps.
Yeah, me too.
I wonder what's happening in New Delhi. I just zoom in and then look at a couple of street views, check out the businesses, see what's there. And we're like, oh, just in case I go.
Is this actually a thing, or have you just made that up?
No, I do that all the time.
What?
Well, I told you I don't like
Sorry, what?
scrolling. You always suck me in because you send me memes on Instagram, and then I catch myself. It's like my version of meditating. Instead of having a thought and then bringing yourself back to not thinking,
You scroll around the world on Google Maps.
I get caught into scrolling, and I'm like, back to Google Maps, my peaceful place.
Zooming in and scrolling.
Zooming in, Venezuela.
What
What are we talking about?
I don't want to kill off-bike clothing, but of those 3, it's the one that I can most likely get rid of. You have to have luggage unless you're going for like 2 minutes. You really need to have a bike computer with GPS, otherwise that 2 minutes is going to become 500 hours.
Or a phone, I guess, with maps.
No, it's the same thing. You can't.
Same,
That's
same.
cheating, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I am going to kill bike clothes. I'm going to love bike luggage, and I'm going to tolerate GPS bike computer.
Same for me.
Next up, we have 1x, 2x, fixed gear, excluding track cycling.
I'm going to be very sensible. I'm going to kill 1x.
What?
I'm going to tolerate 2x, and I'm going to love fixed gear.
Is that sensible?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not sensible. The sensible thing, which I will do on your behalf, is love 2x, tolerate 1x, kill fixed gear,
Oh,
excluding track.
I rode a fixed gear to Paris and had a lovely time.
And you literally referenced it the other day. You referenced it a couple of days ago with me. You were like, do you remember when I rode to Paris on a fixed gear? That was silly.
Yeah, but it was memorable. Fond memories. Sore ass though. Again, it's a recurring theme. It was the saddle. It was on a Brooks saddle. I rode a Brooks Cambium, the most uncomfortable saddle I have ever used.
Is it though? Or is it the second most?
What would be number 1?
Physique Arione.
Oh, it's up there.
Arione?
I mean, they could have a shootout. We could do a versus video on
Which is the worst saddle ever made.
Which is the worst saddle? Who's the first person to get a lifelong injury from it?
Next is ENVE finishing kit, Deda finishing kit, Redshift finishing kit. That's a sick.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So
Yeah,
ENVE is
yeah.
like super high end. Deda is absolutely everything. And then Redshift is like boingy, boingy, suspension, enjoyable comfort.
I love Deda.
Yeah, same.
Redshift's got to be tolerate.
And ENVE
And
kill.
ENVE's in the bin. Sorry.
I'm totally with that, yeah. Because Deda do every price point you can possibly imagine. So it doesn't matter if you want something accessible or something super expensive. They're just amazing. They've got so much compatibility. Redshift I tolerate because it's not my preference, but I think it has a very good place in the world. ENVE is something I've coveted for my entire life. I've never had an ENVE finishing kit. I probably never will have an ENVE finishing kit. And
Didn't we say it was like a Rolex?
well, yeah, I guess it kind of is, isn't it? Yeah.
The thing I like about Deda is that a lot the shapes of the components are the same throughout a lot of their range. So you can buy you can find the handlebar that fits you really well, test out the £20 version or £15 online for some of the RHM bars, and then you can then go, okay, well, I'm committed now. I like this one. I found it, and you can buy a £200 carbon version if you wanted. And there's just so many options.
Yeah. Next is butyl tubes, latex tubes, tubeless.
Nothing wrong with a butyl tube. Love butyl tubes.
Yeah.
Also, you can blow them up.
No, I'm different. I'm love tubeless when it works. I'm tolerate butyl tubes, and latex tubes can get in the bin.
Yeah. Latex goes down over time. It's just annoying. No one's got time for that. It's a race day thing. It would just annoy me.
We've already killed race days, so don't worry about that.
Butyl tubes got me and Justin across the USA because you don't need a fancy bike bungee to be able to tie two riders together to create a very unsafe human centipede of cyclists. All you need is inner tubes tied together. Really, if your friend has a mechanical out on the road, like your crank arm falls off, this is, again, something that happened to me. You just tie two inner tubes together. And a mechanic in South Africa by the side of the road told me this. He's like, I think you should try and tie two inner tubes together. And at the time, I was like, ridiculous. Oh, this works really well. It's got just the perfect amount of slack that if you're pulling something, it doesn't feel like there's something attached to you. You just go a bit slower, but your bike still feels like a normal bike.
Let's say for legal reasons, don't try that
this
at home.
Don't try this. A terrible idea.
I was thinking the exact same thing then. The next one is drop bars, flat bars, gravel flared bars, specifically gravel flare bars, because basically every drop bar that's coming out on new bikes has a slight flare, but only a tiny one. I'm talking about like the aggressive gravelly ones.
Are they so that you can put a front bag on your bike?
Some people justify them with that.
I think you'd have to be extremely flared to not have issues with wrist position, and when they're 50 centimeters wide and they're really, really flared, that's a different thing. It's a different way to hold your handlebars.
It's nearly a flat bar.
It's almost, basically. But then you have a few more hand positions and places to put things.
So for me, I'm killing gravel flared bars because I haven't got in it. I just haven't got into it for whatever reason. I just haven't.
But in a year's time, when we do this again, maybe.
Yeah. I love drop bars. I tolerate flat bars. I'm killing off gravel flared bars.
Same with me.
And the last one for love, tolerate, kill is, this is a weird one, and definitely one for Francis.
Yeah.
Cycling in the United Kingdom, cycling in the United States of America, cycling in South Asia.
Love South Asia.
Actually, I want to caveat this before we go into it. By killing a region here is no...
He's going to kill the UK. It's fine.
At in no point are we drawing judgment on the people or the cultures in those regions, and it's just not real life. We're just chatting about stuff.
He's going to kill the UK anyway.
I'm basing this almost
definitely.
entirely on, am I going to get run over by a car or get aggro from cars? Southeast Asia, they're very aware of two-wheeled vehicles. Despite it being chaos in a lot of cities, there's something about it, and it just works. And it's warm. And I love it there. Cycling in the USA, tolerate. The drivers probably have the same attitude as the people here, but the roads are so wide, you don't really have any issues. Cycling in the UK,
get in the bin.
there's some great locations, but I've just had too many bad driver experiences. Sometimes I have to psych myself up to leave the house. And it's like, no more.
Okay, well, on that light note...
If you want to suggest any love, hate, tolerate, Love, hate, tolerate.
Wait.
If you want to suggest any love, tolerate, kill for us to debate, send them to wildonespodcast@cademedia.co.uk and we might play this game again in the future. Very good link. I like that. And that marks the end for this week. Thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you're following and or subscribing so you don't miss out on the next episode. And we will see you next week.
Boom. You have to say bye because you always wave and then the listeners don't know we've gone.
Goodbye.
Great. Thanks.